I was living with my daughter's father at the time, and I felt that if I didn't leave home then her life would be in danger. Not having a permanent home does affect my education. I'm a student at university, and when I left my previous home, I went into temporary accommodation because I didn't know where to go or what to do. When I had to leave home, I was, really confused, helpless, anxious. Nothing positive, really. Living in temporary accommodation with a 4-month-old when I first moved there was really hard. I didn't have any continuity of care. We didn't have much contact with health visitors because we kept changing practice. I was depressed. I have these arrears hanging over my head, and the fact that I live in university accommodation and I'm uncertain of whether after all of this I'll even be able to graduate. I've continually got to worry about the future. Like, I'm just in flux. I can't settle because I don't know what is going to happen or where I'm going to be. And obviously, you try not to pass that stress on to your children, but if you're worrying about things, then you're less able to enjoy the time that you have.
The effects on children and families of being homeless is very traumatic. In the first instance, the family will have to move into temporary accommodation, and that's a very instant decision. They have to go there and then, and all their possessions will have to go into storage. So that means children losing their toys, things that make them feel safe, and things that, what makes their house a home, really. Also, if they've got pets, they'll have to say bye-bye to the pets, because you can't have pets in temporary accommodation in Edinburgh. Also, it affects schooling, because children obviously moved around to different schools. It means being the new person a lot, making friends. It's very hard to learn if you're upset, sad, worried about parents. So all in all, it affects development educationally. So I'd say children need a permanent home for their physical, emotional and mental well-being.
It's nice to have a house because it's warm and you've got toys and you can play outside and you got food.
I was in temporary accommodation for a year, and that for me was really hard. It was like having a full-time job, being in there and looking for a house and for somewhere to live and feeling that nobody was listening, where shelter was there for me at that time. Shelter just sat down and they listened, and they came into the temporary accommodation, they spoke to me, they spoke to the kids, and they made us see that there was something at the end of the tunnel. Getting the house was like winning the lottery. It was just such a change in my life, and it just brought happiness to me and the kids and the family. And now having the house, I can move on with my life. Having a home now has made the future a lot more brighter than it ever was before. I can see, like, my kids are at school and they invite their friends over and they're so happy now. They feel that they've got somewhere to be happy and be themselves, and know that they can close their rooms at the end of the day and get their own space and come down the stairs and ask Mummy for something to eat and just know that Mummy's happy as well. And now I can focus on finding a job and bettering all our lives. So having a home affects it massively.
The 2012 target was a groundbreaking commitment by the whole of the Scottish Parliament, giving anyone who is unintentionally homeless the right to a home. It's widely admired throughout Europe and indeed further afield, and now it is up to us to deliver on that commitment for the sake of Scotland as a whole, but particularly for the sake of the homeless.
I became chair of Shelter in Scotland 40 years ago because I was appalled by the conditions I saw in Galashiels, the town with the highest proportion of sub-tolerable housing. It's amazing to think that 40 years on, we're now committed to securing a decent home for everybody by 2012. It won't be easy, but it can be done. It's a challenge facing local government, national government, and the people of Scotland. Let's make sure we do it by 2012.